of the Black Madonna in Houston. And I have the pleasure of sitting today with, many of you may know him if you've seen the movies Hidden Colors, if you've been following him on YouTube, if you've been out on the East Coast to any of the lectures, you will know exactly who this is. But for those who don't know, this is Professor James Small. He is a lecturer, a historian, African spiritualist, and we're going to hear from him today while he's here in Houston at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. How you doing? How you doing, Dr. Small?
I'm good, Sister Sheree. I'm great, and I'm glad to be back at the Shrine.
I'm glad to have you.
The Shrine is the first place I visited on my first trip out here. So, and I'm sitting talking to the sister at the desk, and she goes, I remember you because I was here on your first trip here. Dr. Clark, Dr. Jeffries, Dr. Wade Noble, Dr. Asa Hilliard, Dr. Rosalind Jeffries, and I think Dr. Ben. And we was staying in the houses. The Shrine had their own housing complex. And I thought that was the most unique and beautiful thing I'd ever seen. Black people with these extraordinarily wonderful housing units for the guests to stay in. Kitchen, living room, bedroom. And I was like, these some real black folks out here in Houston. That's a fantastic thing in the Shrine. You know, we know Moshe was close to my teacher, Malcolm X. Malcolm always talked about him in their Detroit relationship. And so his conception of the Shrine of the Black Madonna and his building of the Shrine of the Black Madonna here in Atlanta and Detroit was a big plus. And it's still a big plus in the African American community.
And with this year actually being the 50th anniversary of the unveiling of that mural of the Black Madonna and Child, a lot of people in my generation don't know about that, but after doing the history on that, back then it was on the cover of Ebony magazine. Like, it was this huge deal, and even Sister Elaine Brown, when she was here last week, remarked that we looked at the Shrine as a part of the revolution, just just like we were. It wasn't like any other black church.
Right.
So can you speak to us a little bit just on the significance of why something as simple as switching up the visual of Jesus to represent what we look like, and why that has such an impact on us?
We know people are taught that we're made in the image of God. But the truth is, all people made God in their image. And we were worshiping a God made in our enemy's image. So when the Shrine produced a God that was in our image, it was an extraordinary thing what it did to the human mind. And it wasn't that they were faking something or creating some false ego thing for their group. The oldest painting of a Madonna and Child is in Ethiopia, in the Church of Miriam. It is 1,000 years older than Michelangelo's first painting of the Madonna and Child. And that painting in the Church of Miriam in Ethiopia is of a Black Madonna and Child. I've seen it with my own eyes. You see? And before that, on the 11th of every September, a holiday called Aritra is celebrated in Ethiopia as the Ethiopian New Year. That's a celebration of a Sar and Haru. A Set and Haru and a Sar. So it has the mother, the father, and child with the image of the first Madonna and Child. They celebrate that as their New Year every year. So the Black Madonna, that was originated so far back in time, we don't even know, was reintroduced to the psyche of the African American. And the impact was extraordinary. So Dr. Nobles teach us is that you must learn how to remember in order to learn how to imagine. Because it's through imagination that you do creation. But if you don't have a memory of who you were and what you were, how can you recreate yourself into what you want to be?
A lot of people don't know about your link with the holy, Malcolm X, El Hajj, Malik, and Shabazz. A lot of people don't know. So can you talk to us a little bit about what that link is, to really put it into context for some of the people who may not really know how deep that goes?
Right. I grew up in South Carolina on a plantation, little town called Georgetown, between Myrtle Beach and Charleston, right on the Atlantic Ocean, in what was an old African fishing village. And if you go to Africa, brothers who've been to Ghana know they go to the village. My village was just like that. We had the same kind of nets. We fished the same way. We had the same kind of needles to fix the net. We did everything they did in Africa, but we didn't know that because we were in South Carolina. But when I was 15 years old, I saw Malcolm X on television. I was like, who in the world is that?
I tell you, I'm a man who believes that I died 20 years ago. And I live like a man who is dead already. I have no fear whatsoever.
So my mom and dad lived in, could y'all bring me up there so I could meet this Malcolm X? My mom was in the movement. So she brought me to New York, summer of '63. And a brother named Dwight Green, Whitey, took me around. We were on 115th Street between 7th and 8th Avenue. The mosque was 116th Street between 7th and Lenox Avenue. So Dwight took me around the corner to the temple, we called it back then, and the minister wasn't there. So the people said, oh, the minister's down on 141st Street and 8th Avenue in front of this store, and that would be the store where I worked, packing groceries for the summer. Food, it's called Food Family Market. So I went on down there. I wanted to meet Malcolm X, but once I got in the presence of this tall, he was a very light-skinned brother, and he had a look. He didn't stare. I mean, he didn't move his eyes up or down or sideways. He looked at you like he just looked right through you, like laser beam, right? He greeted you, but he didn't take his eyes off of your eyes, kind of thing. I was just trembling. I didn't know what to say once I met him, and I told him I was going to quit school. I was going to come up here and join him. And he said, no, brother. He said, the way we're going to save our people is to educate our people. You can't quit school. Become an educator. Teach our people, so that they can be free. So I came home some months later, went to the organization. Most of the members of the organization had fled because of the warfare, and Malcolm's sister was not in charge, and there was hardly any of the men left. It was a handful of brothers. And so I joined in, and they needed men. So I was pulling brothers who was just coming back from Vietnam, young soldiers, trained in battle, but was black in mind. And I rebuilt the OAAU with his sister Ella. And so I moved more deeper into the movement with the OAU, with the Black Panther Party, with the Black Liberation Army. Brothers like Zaid Shakur, Assata Shakur, they were like my best friends. I mean, we were all young people together. Nobody knew anybody would be famous or assassinated. None of these things had happened yet. We were just out there fighting for our people. And so if you know, Assata Shakur's husband was murdered on that turnpike that day. That was my closest comrade. We had just been together a few days ago. He was on the run as one of the Pt.1. He was the only Pt.1 that never turned himself in. And his big brother, Lumumba Shakur, who was married to Afeni Shakur, who was the mother of Tupac Shakur, right, was the captain of the then Black Panther Party in Harlem. And he had sent the message for me to give his brother to tell him that he was all right. You know, we met at this laundromat up on the Nicholas Avenue on the 145th Street. This was one of the clandestine meetings. Because all the police in New York were looking for Zaid, because Zaid was a bad dude. And they caught them on the turn, assassinated him, and Assata fought in defense of her husband and her life. And that's how that shootout happened.
In 1973, Zaid Malik Shakur, Sundiata Akoli, and we were on the New Jersey's turnpike. We were stopped by New Jersey state troopers, and I mean, they were out of their minds. You know, my arms were in the air in a split second. They shot me with my arms in the air and then again in the back. I was left on the ground for what seemed like forever. They finally took me to a hospital where I was kept incommunicado from Monday to Friday. And I don't want to explain what went on in between. But you can imagine, it was torture.
So I'm proud to say I know them. I'm proud to say I saw Sister Asada just before she had the baby, after she was out of prison, before she went to Cuba, when she was incognito, but safe because the black community protected her and kept her safe until Fidel gave her the protection he did. So that's the kind of world I came out of, you know, as a youngster like you are. We were just trying to help our people and do the best we can.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that wisdom. I mean, I really at this point don't know what else I can say.
Well, remember, your job is to teach the people for the rest of your life. No matter what else you do, teach the people so they'll be free.
I shade of that.
Together.